tomorrow, the day has come. The night won't let us see the sun. The rain will last till the next millennium. I hate to say both are here to stay in this world we share. Still it's not hard in the slightest. You can't ever sleep and you're tripping like this. I'm not more to criticize it, even if I care. Flown in your fantasy, I sing the show, the things that you're imagining. What do you say? The maze is twisting, ever twisting, till you climb to see what you're missing. Sound of a bell from a tiny adventurer signals a new beginning. Are you sure that you're not shaking? Such uncertain roads you're taking. Every step that you take, it is changing you. It is tomorrow, the day has come. Some of them will never really get it. Some of them will say they do, but they're pretending. I hate to say, both are here to stay in this world we share. The world has not been heaven since. The world is not in hell just yet. Existing in between a silver lining there. The cards will show what tomorrow brings. The wind will blow the future it is carrying. What will it be? The maze is twisting, ever twisting, till you climb to see what you're missing. Sound of a bell from the tiny adventurer signals a new beginning. Are you sure that you're not shaking? Such uncertain roads you're taking. Every step that you take, it is changing you. It is tomorrow, the day has it's mine for keeping. I hear a voice that calling, telling me to risk it, asking if I had been going the distance. Sing a breath of passion that I cannot deny. My eyes are swollen with the tears that I've been crying, but to the rest of the world I'm smiling, singing for the courage that I'm dying to show. With my peace sign up when I say goodbye, but a story of a hero. Those days getting rowdy, getting bloody hours, all scraped, getting worn, getting dirty. Now I hear you talking and it all is coming back. I see it in my mind, memories revived. I could apologize for sleeping in a chrysalis, and with every passing night I wish that I was leaving it in. I swear that I'll be back again. I hear a voice that calling, telling me to risk it, asking if I had been going the distance. Sing a breath of passion that I cannot deny. My eyes are swollen with the tears that I've been crying, but to the rest of the world I'm smiling, singing for the courage that I'm dying to show. With my peace sign up when I say goodbye, but a story of a hero. With my peace sign up when I say goodbye, but a story of a hero. I'll cut through the mirage then, there's bright blue sky behind it. I'll spend forever flying, I will make my mistakes. It's fate, it's fate. I'll take the future with a light. Hard to lie, I'll still we fight. Seeking see. One day you'll start to understand there's no point to this unending day. Then you'll see that it's all just a game. Hindering ourselves, we fall apart. Reasons that we keep apart. Oh. Reverse in my mind between the silver line. My heart's in the sky through the darkest night. Let's run till the dawn's first light. Dropping the resolution of the future. Looking away in the day to day. Let's try to stop living a lie. Everything is like a rust escaped me. Now we're living in a dark history. Every single excuse I ever made, I just gotta learn to throw them all away. And I think I still remember all my lies. I was always living with dead eyes. Now I gotta live every day more alive. What's going on? But I guess that I haven't finished yet. Live the day to day but never tried to fix it. What's going on? Well, I guess that I'm different than the rest. Now I recognize that this is a test. Yeah. Bleeding, tired tears, and then tomorrow comes. Let's try it again. Being the best that you can. Let's go. I'm thinking synapse in my mind as it courses through. I want to succeed in the day to day. Let's try to stop living a lie. Reverse in my mind between the silver line. My heart's in the sky through the darkest night. Let's run till the dawn's first light. Dropping the resolution of the future. Looking away in the day to day. Let's try to stop living a lie. Well, I keep my ideals alive. If you can live through all of the danger and get to the love and the dreams, then you'll be alright. Just try not to fall when destiny calls. So answer when your destiny my one and only.
What's going on? How we doing? There's a couple of you. There's a couple of you. What's going on? Desendorf? Thank you for the... I appreciate the sweet DMs you sent me the other day. Appreciate it. It was cool. For anybody who might be watching this stream later, or the other person watching now, other couple people watching now, Desi here has been curious about animation stuff, and I've been DMing back and forth with them about, you know, kind of what I do and how I've done it and how everything's kind of like learning on the job almost, you know, so appreciate that. Anyway, I figured I'd do something a little bit different tonight, and I'm going to do a lot more of this. I've been meaning to get on here and do more of this lately, just kind of like production work, just doing some animation, working on some pages of the comic, basically a little bit of everything, even pinup artwork for Aurora here on the channel. So, as we continue to grow, which we're over 17,000 subscribers, which is insane to me, completely insane. Like I was joking with my wife the other day that I spent years doing that gaming channel, which I still plan to get back to, and get back on that here shortly. But I did that for years and just had over 5,000 subscribers, and like just a couple of videos, well, 3 videos really here on the Aurora channel really blew it up, and we were over 17,000. So thank you to everybody who has subscribed, who might watch this later, who might still tune in here this evening. It's been wild. So yeah, what I want to do is I want to get on here and do more just kind of hang out streams while I just work on the show, while I work on the comics, graphic novel, manga, whatever you want to call it, whatever your word for it is. They're basically comic books, but everybody calls it their own thing. So I want to come on here and just kind of hang out and work on some stuff and just have a good time. So I'm gonna get into it. So what I'm working on right now is here, let me move some things around over here. I got quite a cluttered secondary screen here. So I'm gonna go back to my main screen over here. I've got, what I'm working on is, this is a sequence for episode 2. It's an action sequence for episode 2 I've been working on, basically. This is Omaku, our assassin, who's a bad guy in the opening story arc. But I've been working on this little action sequence here. This is just the rough pencils for it. Just him kind of doing some crazy shadow teleportation kind of stuff, and then jumping back into the fight and getting ready to mess somebody up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend some time tonight just kind of working on this, cleaning it up, tying it down, and getting it ready for colors and stuff this weekend. I'm looking to move this, finish this scene up next week that this is a part of for episode 2. And I'm hoping to have it done in time to include it in the episode 2 sneak peek that we'll be doing at Lexington Comic and Toy Con next weekend. So they've been gracious enough to give us a panel for the 2nd year in a row to talk about Aurora, to show Aurora. And we will be, the panel is going to be fun. We're going to show the pilot in its entirety, the completely finished pilot. And then right after we show it at the show, it's going to go live here on the channel. So we're excited about that. And if you come to the panel at LCTC next weekend, Lexington Comic and Toy Con, you'll get some also kind of information on things that are coming that we've been working on for Aurora, and a sneak peek at episode 2. So some of the stuff we've got done for episode 2. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So anyway, I'm going to get me a quick drink real quick, and I'll be right back. And yes, I'm listening to the Jonathan Young My Hero Academia English opening soundtrack. Because why not, right? Because why not? Anyway, I'll be back. All right. I had myself muted. All right. I'm better about that now too. Like making sure I'm not muted and all this other kind of crazy amateurish stuff I used to do when I would stream. I would always be muted or something weird would be going on with my audio. How is my audio? Let me know if the audio is good on your all's end. I'm going to get started working on this sequence here, but please feel free to chat and talk. I am it's going to be, these streams are going to be very chill. They're just going to be very chilled, laid back, give people kind of a look at what I'm working on and the process. If you got questions or you just want to talk about general stuff, you can talk about animation stuff, talk about what are you watching, shows, anime, what are you playing, games. Yes, I will even talk Final Fantasy VII stuff here as much as I can, as a lot of you all witnessed Rufus kicking my teeth in the last time I streamed, which that was so frustrating. But I can talk up to that point. Anything that happens after that point, I don't know what happened. So, anywho, we'll get to it. We got 4 people. We got 5 people watching. And feel free, let me know who's out there watching. Type a 1. Type a 1 in the comments. I really appreciate it. We're going to get to it. So basically what I'm doing is, like I said, coming in here, I'm going to be tying down. I've got rough done here for all this. I animate on 2s, but I do mess with the timing a little bit. Like with his little disappearing act he does into the shadowy stuff, it's all on 1s. Like this sequence right here, it's all on 1s. And then there's a gap. I like to put these gaps because I like to, when I'm working on animation, I have everything storyboarded, but where it's me doing it by myself, it is a cheap fight, Bobby. I was so frustrated. It's all good, Desi. Appreciate you all being here. One of the things I like to do is kind of chop everything up. I'll leave about 10 frames of space, of white space, so I can export like 7 or 8 shots at once because I'm working on it by myself. So when it comes time to do all my composition work in After Effects and everything, I like to bring in whole batches that I can just put together, do my lighting effects and everything, and then splice everything out as MOV files and then drop them in on backgrounds and stuff. So that's why you see like this big gap right there. And then, so that's how I work. Helps me streamline where it's just me working on the animation. I don't have to worry about labeling everything. So that's why you don't see labels and stuff, because I know where it's going. So if I was working with a huge team or whatever, I'd definitely be labeling everything. So anyway, I'm going to come in here and I am going to start my tie down passes and clean Omaku up here a little bit. And again, this is not my cleanup pass, so I'm just kind of getting it all together. When I do my cleanup, or my cleans, as I call them in my files here, when I do cleans, I do it on my iPad, so I can have it in my lap and draw. It's just easier for me to draw on my iPad. And doing things this way is kind of a little bit new for me, because I'm usually just like I said, not working this way, because it's a little cumbersome for me to work this way. But in order to stream and hang out with you all on the stream, this is what I'm gonna This is how I'm going to do it. Although I can work it up to where it's on my iPad, but when I'm on my iPad working, I'm like kicked back like this with my feet up and everything. So I'm not like really up here on the screen. I'm gonna go. There we go. Oh, I put that on my clean layer. Well, we can fix that. All right. There's one. Now, I turn off my onion skinning when I'm doing this because it's it kind of gets in the way. I just like to drop the opacity of my lines and then just kind of come in here and work away. Chris, it is a good night for some Aurora art. What's up, man? How you doing? And when you're doing, for those who have been asking me about like animation and what I've learned, um, time management, time management, coming from a guy who's not always been great with his time management, right? So when you're doing your tie down layer, it's more on model, as a lot of you know who have studied animation techniques and stuff. But even on your tie down layer, keep that loose. Keep those lines loose, just more structured. You know, a lot of people have asked me about that. Desi, I believe you asked me one of the things you were chatting with me about the other day. Um, Keep those lines loose. You don't have to go all out and create like some amazing looking digital painting or whatever on your tie down layer, and that will slow you down. Because when I started doing this, like about 4 years ago, I started really trying to make this thing happen. I was like my roughs looked like super clean pencil sketches you would give to like a like an inker who's getting ready to ink your stuff. Like it was like you would think that is like, yeah, you're being efficient. It's a good way to be. You know, rock out. You're doing a great job. But really, it destroys your time management. Uh, it's just not possible to do things that way. Which again is why it's taken me a long time to get things done. But yeah, keep that stuff loose. There we go. And I will be tweening these as well. This is just playing Avowed. Yeah, dude, how is Avowed? Like, how is that? Like, I've heard mixed things. I trust your opinion, of course, So like, but I've seen some wild stuff about that game. I've seen some people love it. I've seen some people just really just pan it. Where am I at? There I am. Let's see, some things you'll find, like right here as I'm doing his face, like when I was doing the rough pencils, like his nose was off there. So I'm constantly finding little things that I can correct and make better. It's kind of like, also kind of like the curse of doing a project by yourself. Sometimes, like when you don't have people like in the room with you making the art and everything, it's hard that other people won't catch some of those things. So you kind of catch those things yourself, and sometimes a little bit later than you wanted to. But there we go. There. Like I said, on the tie down, keep it loose. You don't want to go crazy trying to get just tons of detail on your tie downs. You want to get it done. And I do, like when I do my cleanup, I'll do a couple passes on my cleanups because I really want them. The goal of Aurora is to look like one of those really nice OAV anime productions from like the 90s. Like, that's my influence, that's my main thing, and um, that's what influenced me to do it. So I really wanted to look that way. So I give my cleans their first pass, and then I give it that second pass to really polish off that look. So it does take a little bit longer to get these things done, but the end result will be absolutely worth it. Hopefully. What's up, Demetrius? Hey, I appreciate all the love you give me on Instagram. It's the first time I've had a chance to say it live, but thank you. You've been following me and Aurora for a long time, my friend. I appreciate you. I'm putting work into that Aurora Instagram too, getting that thing moving. I think we just went over 450 followers on Instagram, I think. So I'm really excited about that. Gotta make. He's got this belt sash that comes over his shoulder. So one of the reasons I had to pull some of the stuff I was going to show for the pilot, and the reason I haven't shown it yet, is because there were so many shots where I forgot to put that belt over his shoulder. It was just, they were darkly lit scenes, and I thought to myself, well, I got to get those mechanics right. I got to make it move right, and maybe I'll leave it out. But then once I saw the final animation before I showed the actual show, I was like, oh man, it's obvious to me that it's not there. People who don't know the character or whatever, they probably wouldn't know, because you can't tell there's something missing there. But if they get into the comics and all that kind of stuff, and then they'd probably call me on it later, like, bro, why'd you leave all of Omaku's stuff out? I'm like, well, I was being lazy. So I didn't want to come with that answer. So All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start putting in my spots where I'm gonna be shadowing him. So I've seen a lot of animators and stuff on YouTube. They'll tell people, don't wait to do your lighting lines and stuff when you do your cleanup. But I use a lot of like spot blacks and a lot of black areas in my animation, especially when it comes to Omaku's scenes, because they're very dark and there's very terrifying. So I use the lighting to reflect that. So as I'm going through my tie down pass, I make sure that I start marking, where I'm going to have that black, because it is super important to this character. Sets a tone. Sets a tone. Thank you, Demetrius. I appreciate that. By the way, shout out to Jonathan Young. This dude is awesome. Like, I listen to his music a lot in the studio. Like when I'm working. I was recently on a grunge kick. Like I was listening to a lot of like Alice in Chains and Screaming Trees and stuff like that. But like I've gone back to some anime soundtracks recently. I don't know if it's because I'm getting closer to the end of production, but anyway. So here's something on shots like this, like speed blur shots and stuff, things that I'll edit down later. I don't edit these in my I don't make a tie down pass for these. You could, but I don't. What I do instead is I wait until the cleanup phase, and I'll come through here. I'll really detail and clean up these edges because they're going to get directional blurred anyway in After Effects. So I don't spend a whole lot of time in the tie down phase on these. So we can just go through these. There. Okay, so right here, where he's kind of human torching right here, I'll start. This is where we'll start tying down. Drop the opaque on that. The opacity. I'm going to add a little more kind of like blurring effect and speed line action on this little pass here. Little leg crossed showing there. Okay. How's the volume, by the way? Then we'll turn that back up a little bit. We're actually, we have a game in development right now. It's one of the things I'll be talking about at Lexington Comic and Toy Con, Demetrius. We have Aurora, the Last Sunset, in development. And also the game itself, The Last Sunset. I guess I can talk about it here. No reason I can't, right? We're independent. We can say whatever. Um, you just may not see it for a few years, but we can talk about it. Like, it's heavily inspired by Chrono Trigger, games like Chrono Trigger and games of that era, like that mid to late '90s JRPG goodness. It's really inspired by games like that. Zelda: Link to the Past, and it's also going to have fully realized animated cutscenes. Now, as far as the voice acting goes, I'm not really sure where we're going to be on that because there is currently a SAG-AFTRA strike against video game voice acting. So they are striking right now, and we cannot employ our cast because they're SAG-AFTRA members. So I don't know how the voice acting part is going to shape out there. If we may just wait and release it when the strike is over, so we can record everybody, because that'll be a part of the planning too. So we'll have to wait and see what shakes out with that. Sega, oh yeah, like one of my favorite games of that era was the thought I was gonna sneeze. It was a yawn. Was the Valis series. Valis 1, 2, and 3. I love Valis. I love the artwork of those games. So that was I love the Sega era of JRPGs as well. Phantasy Star, Valis, there were some great games. Phantasy Star 4, oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, okay. I always lose where my cursor is. One of the things also I wanted to talk with you all about, get some ideas on. Like I am. Oh yeah, dude, those are great games. Shining Force, of course. Shining Force, absolutely. Border Break. I don't think I played that. I don't think I played Border Break. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look that up. I love the Sega era. Like everybody was eating great back then. Nintendo, Sega, didn't matter. Everybody was eating great. Remember who remembers the Sega Channel? I played the Sega Channel. I think it was like 1998, 1999, something like that. I remember the Sega Channel. That was weird how that worked. It was really strange how that worked. Ty Dalbin. Die down. The this little piece I'm working on right here um, was heavily influenced by my love of Fushigi Yugi, the mysterious play. There's a I was trying to figure out what to make this look like for this scene here, and I went back and forth a couple of times on how he appears to be transforming into shadow and moving around. That's not what's happening here, but that's what I want it to look like. And I was like, well, how do I make that look? How do I make that look effective and not hacky? And then I remember the opening credit sequence for Shigeyugi with Seiryu and Suzaku, the energies colliding or whatever, and that was exactly where I got the idea for this from. One of the great things about working digitally too, as well. Control Z, baby. Control Z. I want to tighten that line up. Right there. There we go. We are keeping it loose, but we also got to tighten it up. All right. Tighten that up. I know it looks like kind of random scribbles, like the way I drew it, but it's also it is very specific how I wanted that to look and move, because when this comes out the other side, it has to look like the form makes sense for him to actually come out of. Ooh, frame 22 of 44. Let's go. That's this sequence. This whole sequence is like 44 frames over the course of about 3.5 seconds. So how are we looking? Okay. Okay. All right. I'm okay with it. Come on. Okay, we got that one. Really need to set up some shortcuts for new layer in this program. Okay. Oh, did it, Chris? I didn't know that. Mega Man, the Wily War. I didn't know that debuted on Sega Channel. I had no idea. Dude, I love a good mech shooter. I was disappointed with the new, oh, what was it? I totally spaced on the name. Look at me over here. Oh yeah, he totally loves. You know, where you can build your own mech and battle. There was a new one that came out a few years ago, and it was kind of disappointing. What was that called? Armored Core. The new Armored Core was kind of disappointing. New look, by the way. My eyes are completely shot. So I gotta wear glasses when I'm like reading up close. These are reading glasses. But I'm probably cruising toward bifocals soon. Cause I squint a whole lot now. Getting old, man. Getting old, dude. Old head. Ooh. Oh, Demetrius, you ain't gotta tell me anything. I know the grind is real. I appreciate that. Yeah, like I'm getting ready to put a bunch of new stuff on the website, and Volume 3 is coming out. Actually, as a matter of fact, hang on a second. Just came in. I'm gonna put an announcement on for my Kickstarter members tomorrow, but this just came in. I'm excited. Volume 3. Check this cover. Check this cover out. That's the guy. That's the bad dude right now. Volume 3. Phantoms is here. I promised my Kickstarter members that I wouldn't put it on the website for sale until they've all had it in their hands for a month. So I'm sending these out Monday. Like rewards are going out Monday. All the rewards are going out Monday. I'm still waiting on my hardcovers. Hardcovers aren't in yet. So, but I'm sending these out on Monday or Tuesday. By Tuesday or Wednesday, all rewards are going to be out. And, well, I'll tell you what. Volume 3, baby. Yeah, it's a real book. It's a real book. It is alive. It is alive. I'm super excited. Super excited for the direction and everything that's coming out. Demetrius, I'll tell you what, man. Like, where we are an independent creation, an independent company, you put in an order for those books, I'll make sure you get the originals. I'll make sure you get the original 1 and 2 cover. I'll make sure of that. I know the main guy. We can make that happen. We can make that happen. But yeah, lots of cool stuff happening. I'm really excited that that's in the bag. And volume 4 is almost done. So what I'm going to do from now on, though, is like volume 4 of Araura. I'm not going to do Kickstarters from now on. I'm just going to do pre-orders on the website, because Kickstarter they take a pretty good percentage. It's not like a crazy percentage, but I feel like if I just say, hey, you know, you can pre-order number 4 on the website now, then people can just put their pre-order in. They can get whatever the pre-order bonus is going to be, and then that's it. We're not going to have like a bunch of tiers, and I got to be like, oh, what did I say that tier was going to have? Which one has the shirt? Which one has a box? No, it'll be one deal. Like there'll be a pre-order version you can get with like a poster and stuff. Might be another version you get with a cool T-shirt or something, but it won't be anything crazy. Yeah, we're gonna have to run that up the pole to corporate. We're gonna have to run that up the pole to corporate. If everybody could just chill for a little bit while we get an answer from corporate on that. Oh, corporate just got back with us. Yeah, I can make that happen for you. Oh, sorry, Desi, I just saw your comment there. Really appreciate you taking the time and answering my questions the other day. Really inspiring work. Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, like, I'm just a dude who was like, you know, I really want to see my comic book made into a show, and it'll never happen. So I'll just do it myself. And, you know, it's like I'll do these conventions, and I'll do panels at these conventions, and people ask the same question. They're like, you know, so how did you do this, man? And I'm like, I wasn't thinking. And like, after all the work that's gone into it, and all the sleepless nights, and the aging I have done to my brain and my body and everything, and the doctor visits and the hospital visits and all this other kind of crazy stuff, I can tell you I understand why people don't do it. But me being the kind of guy I am, I have to do it. There is no way but forward. Burn the ships. Burn the ships at the shore. We're going forward, or we're not going anywhere. So that's how I handle all that. But yeah, so I hope I answered all your questions the other day, Desi. I was in the studio working, and they messaged me via Twitter. I think it was Twitter. Bunch of questions about things, and I'm not one of these guys that's not going to share my secrets. I don't have secrets. I got the way I figured out how to do things, and if that works for you, God bless you, because I am not a good teacher. I'm a guy who flies by the seat of his pants, and I'll jump in the frying pan before I figure out my feet are on fire. And I'm like, oh wow, now I gotta figure out how to get out of this mess, you know? So, but we have gotten there. We're there. Oh well, thank you, Demetrius. Yeah, I've been on the news a few times. I've had people reach out and curious about the work, and I'll be like, sure, I'll come on and talk about this little thing I'm doing. But yeah, I'm always happy to talk about it and go into detail with people. You gotta be your own press agent too when you're doing this stuff. I tell people when people are asking advice and stuff, I always tell people like what should they say, what should I go to college for? What should I study for art? And I'm like, don't study anything for art. Go to the University of YouTube and look up everything you want to know. Now, if you're in college and you want to learn something, learn marketing, learn business, go to school for that stuff because that's the stuff they're not going to teach you. That's the stuff that artists don't know. We're not wired to know those things. We're wired to be like, why doesn't everybody love my stuff? What have I done wrong? That's how our brains think. But you haven't done anything wrong. You just haven't found your audience. And to find your audience, you have to know marketing. You have to know how to put yourself out there the right way. Using Instagram and just hoping stuff slaps to the wall, because I did that for a long time. That don't work. You got to find your niche. You got to find people who are into your thing. But yeah, that's one of the things I'll talk about with people. I should teach a course on finding the right courses. And here we are. That's right, man. And here we are. And away we go. Away we go. Tyone. No, there's a D in there, sir. There's a D in there. I do voice Omaku in the animated series, so maybe as I'm animating him here, I should talk to you all as him. Well, this is the point right here where I killed 3 guys right here, and I disappeared into shadow and came up behind another guy, and I killed him too. Not a conversationalist, that guy. Not a conversationalist. Death and destruction. Ooh, yes. He has a soft spot for animals, though. He loves animals. There's actually going to be a scene in Volume 5 that I'm actually penning right now, writing out. These people are in the woods, and they're I don't know, they're bandits, so they're jerks. And I was like, well, I needed Omaku to go after some bandits, but I also he won't go after someone unless it's like a situation where they're someone's threatening something he cares about or whatever. So I couldn't make it like a person because I didn't want him to come off as like a heroic villain, like some kind of chaotic good in some weird way. So I was like, well, maybe he just loves animals, and these bandits are trying to kill an animal so they could eat it, and maybe he does something horrible to them. So that's all I'll say about that. Chris here in the chat, Chris McDaniel, he's my editor, and so he'll get to read that here pretty soon. Oh no, the mystery man with the huntsman's hat. He is a mystery. He is a mystery. That I'm not going to be the final voice actor for him, but the voice actor that we have cast, we haven't announced yet, and we couldn't get him yet because that scene I actually added. So that scene was born out of a conversation over pizza and beer that I had with Michelle Ruff. Michelle was here in Kentucky for a convention, and she plays Rukia in Bleach. She's in a ton of stuff. She's also our voice director, and she's also Endra in Aurora. So we did a convention, and we were that Saturday night we were having pizza and beer and talking about things. And she said, "What if we had some kind of like mystery in the opening, some kind of weird, strange mystery?" And I was like, that would be cool, because it wasn't in the original script of the show. So I had to put that together myself. I animated that. I put it together. I scored it, and then I was like, we couldn't get the voice actor who I wanted to bring in for him, that we will be bringing in later as that character. So that's why I did the voice modulation, and it was just me talking like this, talking into the microphone, talking a lower tone of my voice, a gravelly, more baritone. So I just did that, and then I did some voice modulation to it to kind of sound like it was like in a dream, almost like some kind of weird, creepy dream the characters are having, the character in that is having. So that's where that came from. It was just a conversation, and then I came home, and like that week I worked on getting that storyboarded, figuring that out, what that's going to look like, all that kind of stuff. And then I added more to it that's going to be in the pilot. And oh, by the way, the pilot, full episode of the pilot is dropping next weekend right here on the channel. So I'm going to show it live at Lexington Comic and Toy Con to everybody, and we're going to show a sneak peek at episode 2, some of the stuff I've been working on, and then we are going to schedule it to go live here on YouTube after our panel is scheduled. So I'll still be at the show, but the episode will go live right here on YouTube. So we're really excited about that. Yeah, the thing I love about that character is, we'll just call him Mystery Man right now. He actually pops up for the first time here in Volume 3. Let's see here. Where is he? Where is he? Okay. Here he is. He's Loam, who's voiced by Steve Bloom, is walking through the streets of Wendros, and there is Mystery Man right there with some other mysterious people, another mysterious faction of people. And I'm having too much fun. I'm having too much fun writing this character right now. There he is talking to some of the other mystery men. But yeah, I'm having way too much fun writing that character right now. It's a lot of fun. And I'm really excited that now that I kind of have like a unified focus with my creative team, we're getting so much comic work done. We're getting so much comic book work done. The big reason I had to delay everything, I had Volume 3 done last year. And then the more I worked on the show, the more my art got better. The more I was like, I'm going to have to redo Volume 3. So I started trying to redo pages and stuff here and there, and I got lost in the muck and the mire of all of that. And it wound up taking forever. And then we had publishing issues with the books because of my bad timing. And it's finally coming out now, though. But there will be no more delays. There will be regular Araura releases. A steady, heavy flow of Araura comic book releases. It only took me 5 years to figure out how to get that to go full time. But I'm really appreciative of everyone who has stuck with it and given me that grace, because I did take a long time. I did mismanage a few things, but heart was always in the right place, and we're really rocking and rolling now. So much amazing stuff getting ready to come out. It's taken everything in my being to not talk about every single thing, because I'm terrible terrible at keeping secrets. Terrible at like not talking about everything that's coming out, right? and but I've done a good job of keeping my mouth shut lately, so I'm really excited that I've leveled up in that way. All right, where are you? There you are. And see right here, you see I've just got these random shapes and lines here for my... Sometimes I will do that. I'll just have like random shapes and lines on my rough because I know where I want to go with it. I'm just trying to get that rough done, you know, trying to get the motion down, and then I'll clean it up a little bit more here on the tie down, make it more on model for whoever or whatever I'm drawing, and really knock it out on the first pass of the cleanup. Second pass of the cleanup, nail down all the details and get it where it needs to be. And again, like I've said several times, people have been asking me about process, who are my inspirations, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, I'm just learning on the job. I don't have like real technical answers for people. There are great YouTube channels for animation. A lot of them I have looked at and been inspired by, and I tell people to check them out because they're wonderful teachers. I am not a great teacher. I'm just a guy. If you like doing things by the seat of your pants and you just want to do it your way and figure out what your way is, I can tell you how I did it, and then you can take whatever I tell you and go from there. But yeah, so that's how I handle a lot of like, you know what, I actually don't want this little tail on here because it's not going to make sense with the rest of the motion. But the rest of this kind of does. I like this right here. He's coming out of what looks like some kind of shadowy mist. So I kind of want to make it look like it's some kind of thick goop, like he's slopping around in it. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I was going for when I was trying to figure out the look of this. Like he's just slopping around in this like weird goop. But he's coming in and out kind of reality as he's doing it. So I want it to be a little thick, a little sloppy, but at the same time, it's here and then it's gone. And right here, it's starting to get a little more solid. Clean that up a little bit right there. Some of his features are coming back into view now, but we can still have it like a little tapered back here. Right here, and like he's coming right out of it, and he's just on the hunt. So what we're going to do is we're going to, right here, make sure his leg is right there, and then like he's still kind of coming back into reality here. So coming back onto this plane, as we'll say. So this right here needs to be a little broken up. Like right there. Like he's just coming back in through. So his arm is kind of coming like out of thin air. Like if he could hide in the thin air and come out of it, like he's still coming out of that kind of veil right here. His hand is coming up and out of it. So that's kind of what I'm going for right there. And one of the things I love about my time working in animation, novice as I am, is how you can come up with ideas and interesting concepts on the fly. Like there's been so many times, so I'll be up till 4 or 5 in the morning because I started working on a 12 frame sequence that turned into a 38 frame sequence because I kept spreading out my keyframes to get more in depth with the concepts I was working on in the sequence, and I kept adding in betweens, and it turns into this whole other crazy cool action sequence. If I could ever ask like professional, super crazy, amazing animators from like Japan or even people here in America and stuff, like I would ask them how much that happens to them. Like how much that you crafted in the storyboard got added and stuffed in there because you were just having so much fun with it. I bet it'd be a lot. As you can see, I've only got like rough skeletal model right here for him. But you, one of the things I like to do is take that and just kind of start embellishing details right there. Omaku has these like black like trappings and straps and stuff that go up and down his arms. They do have a purpose. They do have a reason. It's mainly its defense against like magical kind of it's like magical armor or like armor against magics, because in Araura there are lots of like mages and powerful magical beings that can use like Auroran and Seraph bound abilities of nature and buffs, debuffs, things like that, and it's protection against that. So I like to make sure while I'm doing my tie down passes on him that I at least get the representation in there for those, because I have also forgotten some of those. When I look at his cleanups and finished sequences, it's like, oops, he doesn't have his black arm straps and stuff on. Okay, right there. His leg is coming down and under, so this part will be over. I'm going to raise this leg up just a little bit. Right there. I think that is... Hang on a second. Let me look. Turn on onion skin. Let's see. So that's back, down, back. Nah, it's going to come down. Okay. Control Z for the win, baby. There we go. All right. P. We'll just go like right there. Okay. Okay. Here he comes. Here he comes. All right, of course, he's got like long sideburn hair, so gotta make sure we have that flapping around in the wind. Get a little more specific with his hair flying around back here. Shoulders up. That's something else when you're working in animation, you want to make sure that you've got strong, even if you're going for a stylized look with like your style or whatever, it's good to have a strong understanding of how the human body works and moves, no matter what your style is or how it looks. I find, because like my stuff is more realistically based as far as like human proportions and stuff like that. I do have some other characters who are kind of SD, super deformed or whatever you might say, more cartoony. But for the most part, all of my characters are pretty anatomically accurate. So, but regardless of however your style or whatever you're working in, you want to make sure that you know how the body works. It'll help you out a lot. Save you some headaches down the road, because what'll happen is you'll be working on something, you'll be looking at it, you'll be like, this doesn't quite look right or whatever, and it's because some things are off on the body or whatever. Now he's really booking now. Like he's really coming after him. I don't like this right here. Gotta rework this. What I'll do is I'll slip into the rough layer here now, and I'll kind of start roughing out how I want the arm to actually more specifically look. There we go. Okay. Now slip back up into tie down. There we go. Okay. And one of the things I constantly have to tell myself when I'm animating is like, don't obsess over a 2-frame shot. You know, I have had nights where I'll spend 45 minutes on a frame that you're going to see for like a 1/12 of a second. You know, you have to learn at some point when to move on. You know, like when let it go, let it move on. So like right here, I'm not super happy with this, but I'm going to move on because I know I can correct it here in a little bit. Sometimes when you're working on animation, art, whatever, you have to give your brain because you're going through frames quickly. You're going through many drawings quickly, right? So you have to give your brain time to chew on and process some of that stuff. Some of our processors work faster than others. My processor's not as fast as it used to be. It's still super quick, but there's a lot of other people out there that have faster processors than mine. I'll come back to this tomorrow at some point, and I'll be like, that's what I wanted to fix about it. So I don't really stress about it anymore. Okay. Oop, I need tie down. There we go. Ears up. And knowing your characters front and back is also really good when you're doing this. So, like, I know, so for instance, I know Amaku has high cheekbones, right? Because there's a lot of Native American influence in the Taldaran and his race in Aurora. That's his people. There's a lot of Native American influence there. So he has high cheekbones. So that is one thing I can keep in mind and understand as I'm drawing his layout and his look. Absolutely. So here's a good example of I didn't put enough detail in my rough layer. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to draw Maku's widow's peak here. I would never tell him face to face, hey, bro, your widow's peak. So probably not turn out well for me. But I can go in here, draw it on my rough layer, and then come back in here and get it a little more accurate, a little more clean on my tie down. There we go. There we go. And right here, like, I want him to look super, super sinister right here. So this is all going to be black. Like, you won't be able to see his eyes as he's charging in. He's just like a monster. That's how I'm portraying him in this opening arc. Just an absolute monster. There we go. All right. Probably a little more detail than what I needed for just the tie down layer, but I want to make sure I get as much in there as I possibly can. And so where he's moving so fast, also, the hair is going to flip around wildly. So it's important to keep it straight and accurate to some extent, but also you can be a little loose with it as far as like the motion and all that. So don't have to be super stringent with that part of things. Clean that right there out. Okay. All right. Oh, what just happened? Whatever that was, didn't mean to do it. All right. There we go. There's what I meant to do. All right. Let's see how we're looking here. I'm liking it. So what I want to do now is I want to take a look at some of my timing. Right there. Okay, so right here, here. I'm going to move around some of these frames to kind of get a little more accurate, because the motion is a little faster than what I want it to be right now. So we're going to go here, 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 there. That's definitely twos. Two. Okay, so this right here will all be on twos. Two. Down to three. We're slowing the pan. We're slowing by. And right there. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I'll still in between that, so save that. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break, and I'll be back in just a moment. I'm gonna refill the old beverage. All right. Back to it. Just the volume a little bit. Whew. I was having to read a couple things. So I had to throw the glasses on. All right. But I'm done reading things. Now I can take them off. Appreciate y'all hanging with me tonight. A couple of you all on here. I know it's not really what I'm known for or anything like that, but I appreciate it so much. You know, the love, the outpouring of support and everything for Brian. Yeah, I know, right? I'm getting to work. Oh, I worked a double today at my main job, and I got a double tomorrow, and I'm opening Saturday, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what am I doing to myself here? But it's good to see you, Brian. Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate you, bud. Says the guy at work. Oh, you're at work right now? Okay. I'll say it. So we're on frame 24. 25 now. Oh, wait, no. I've already done that. Right? Oh, here we go. 28, 27, 30. Okay. All right. Dizzy, what's been the hardest thing okay. Sorry, I read that wrong. So what's been the hardest thing of making this project come alive? That's a damn good question. Made me think inward a little bit there for a second. So I don't know. There's a couple different ways I could go with answering that, but I would just say the main thing. What's been the hardest thing about making this project come alive? I'd say evolving, personally. Evolving. For a long time, I was the type of person who just, I would always, and what I'm doing is I'm going back. I didn't have enough detail on this rough layer, so I'm going in and getting some more detail in here before I start the tie down. I was always the type of guy that be like, well, if a bunch of people didn't come out and say my thing, they liked my thing or whatever. A lot of times, and I'm friends with a lot of different artists, and a lot of times, if an artist loves your thing, they won't always tell you. They don't always say it. It's not a hating thing or anything like that, but it's just like all of us artists are kind of the same. It's like, God, I really like the thing they just did. Shit, I'm going to have to up my game or something like that. I've thought that about people before, but I'm always very outward and forthright, and I will tell people, like, man, I really love that thing you did. Or maybe look at my thing and go, damn, I got to up my game or whatever. I don't know. But I was always the guy that I had anxiety about my work. And I thought that if people didn't tell me they liked it, then that just meant they didn't like it. No, it didn't mean that. It just meant that maybe they liked it and didn't tell me. At the end of the day, I had to get to a point where none of that stuff matters. I can't care about that. So the hardest part of all this was evolving past the ego of an artist. And I don't mean ego like having a big head about your art. I mean the anxiety and everything that comes with that. I just had to be like, screw it. I've got these people that do believe in it and want to get behind it. And I had to look at it like they chose me and I can't let them down and we just got to go. So I had to evolve into more of a boss, a leading producer, a director. I had to evolve into those roles. So that was really the hardest thing about, and learning how to do that, because I don't come from a background. I've never been a part of a studio. This is just something that me and a couple of really cool voice actors thought would be a great idea, and they helped me get behind it. and they kind of taught me a lot of the stuff they knew about production and pitching and all, and networking and all that other kind of stuff. So it kind of, that's how it all started. But then I had to figure out, like, how am I going to get this across the finish line? How am I going to be a proper producer, director, creator, owner, all these different things? And it wasn't until about end of 2023, when I've been working on this for a while and it really started to hit me. I was like, oh wow. I was like, because I've been lost in the work of everything, you know. And I had about a week where the work wasn't too heavy, and I had my first like real break in a few years. And because I worked all through COVID on things, I was like, oh wow, this is, there's a real gravity to what we're doing. Like, the world doesn't know about it yet, but they will. And if they're ever going to know about it, that work has to be done right now. So I really had to evolve into something I wasn't prepared to evolve into. So I think that's been the hardest part of this whole process. That and not sleeping. I've gone a long time without much sleep. Many stints, many sleepless nights, stressful sleepless nights, and deadlines that no one will ever know of. Other issues that arose that people will never know of. Raise delays. They're not for no reason. They're not because I'm not working, but I also don't throw people under the bus. As a leader, the first thing you learn is you don't throw your people under the bus. If someone on your team fails, you failed because they failed. So their failures are my failures, and I will own those. There are people that we had brought into these projects that wound up just not working out. And deep into the process, we discovered that it wasn't working out, you know? But again, that rests on me. So I don't look at it as they failed or they didn't cut it. I failed as a leader to not get that done. But having said that, I learned. I learned what to be looking for. I learned some of the early warning signs of those pitfalls coming through. I learned that stuff. And once I learn something, I don't unlearn it. Like, I put that in my portfolio moving forward. Okay, these are the things to look for. These are the questions to ask when you're interviewing people for this, that, and the other. And one of the big reasons this has been delayed so many times and so much is because the work has to be to such a standard. I have a standard that I want the work to be at. Like, for instance, backgrounds. Everybody has been like, your backgrounds and everything you've shown look phenomenal. I used to suck at backgrounds. I took months, probably the better part of 2023, the better part of 2023 to just figure out, okay, you got to learn how to paint backgrounds. Like, I just had to learn how to do it. And then, we get into 2024 and I realized that I can use what I learned in the animation stuff about painting backgrounds and all that kind of thing. I can do that in the comics too. Like, the comics now are going to have amazing, or not, well, I don't want to say amazing because it's me doing it and I don't want to be too confident of your work, but it's going to be way better than the backgrounds used to look in Araura in the comics. So by doing this, I learned how to serve the comics better. And the more stuff I do in the comics, it serves the animation better. So it's kind of wild. So Yeah, there are lots of hardest things. There are lots of hardest things that have been a part of this whole process. I know I rambled there, but I really wanted to answer your question. But it can't be mastered in weeks or a month. Yeah, I mean, it's a process. You learn over time. I think it was Miyazaki that said that he was learning things in his older ages or his older years before he retired. He was learning things then about, animation and how to make things look and how to convey feeling and all that. So that's the other thing that I look at from that golden age era of anime, like that mid 90s to early 2000s period of anime. One thing they did, they really conveyed emotion. Like it was in their color palette choices, it was in their settings, it was in their whatever levels of saturation they chose to use, like movement, music, how the scene moved without even saying words. That's one of the things I really wanted to kind of get back to working on Aurora, is really conveying emotion and getting that across, and not focusing so much on the there's a lot of flash these days, a lot of not like the program flash, but there's a lot of like things moving and flying around the screen and like blurs and blips and guys, like 50 people's heads disappearing and just a guy, like a line darting across the screen and stuff. There's a lot of that. Like, and people was like, can you do that? Yes, I can do that. But I would rather spend my time trying to figure out how to convey the emotion I'm trying to get across. Because that's what will keep people coming back, is, how your work makes them feel. Not, can you make 50 heads blow up in like 3 seconds? Yes, I could do that. But I would rather spend my time trying to figure out the emotion, the feeling of the scene. That's what I love about old school anime. That's why you all always see me talking about old school anime on social media. That's why it's so special to me, because as my 7-year-old or my son would say, it's special to me. It's that is what makes it special to me, is that feeling, that level of feeling. Full Metal, for me, and for my taste, Full Metal Alchemist was the last anime that did that. Like, in the colors they chose, the hues they chose, they just knew how to draw that emotion out. And for me, and of course, I haven't watched everything that's out there, but that might have been the last, like, truly great story. I have to think about, because Naruto's good, Bleach is amazing. I love Bleach. You all know I love Bleach. But Full Metal Alchemist, start to finish, was the last one that really just, man, hit every note. Just hit every note, I'll bring the bridge of his nose over just a little bit. Actually, we'll take that back. Control Z, baby. I want his eyes to be a little more enraged. A lot of detail in his face in this shot. I'm like, oh, what do I do to myself here? But it'll work out. When we do these live streams, I'm also going to be working on art from like the comics and stuff, and pinups, posters, t-shirt design, whatever I feel like working on art wise that night. But a lot of times it will be like animation. So his eye is crooked over here. Like badly, like bad crooked. It's like super bad crooked over here. What did I do there? I wonder if I can just correct that here. Let's see. Yeah, I should be able to correct it here. So if we're going here, his eye is supposed to be right here. Oh yeah, that was not great. There we go. That was oof. That wasn't oof. We'll squint his eye there. There we go. Small up the pupil over here. That'll work for now, just for the tie down. There's gonna be a lot of black around his eyes here anyway, so it's not. There we go. Okay, all right. Okay, right there. All right. Coming back, make sure those cheekbones line up properly. Whew, this is a frame. I'm telling you, this is a. But it won't be too hard once I get to the cleanup frame, because we're gonna have a strong tie down frame here. And one other thing is, like, you know, you don't like, he's got like crow's feet. He's in his mid 30s. That's how old this guy is. So that's about his age. But you don't have to put all that detail, because again, this is going to be you're going to see this for 2 frames. So you're going to see this for a 1/12 of a second. But it's all just whatever choices you want to make when you're doing your stuff. So like, how much detail do you want to have in a frame, whatever. Especially fast moving action like this. So, but I'm just choosing to do that on this one. But I wouldn't want to do this on every one of them, because I'd be releasing the pilot in 2027 if we were going to do that. So there we go. Okay. Oh. I want to go a little bit higher with his widow's peak right there. Little patch of hair right there. Go a little bit higher with it. There we go. Okay. Oof, that was a frame right there. That was a frame. Okay, so we've got about 14 frames to go, but 14 pretty easy frames. I mean, so just close-up stuff. Oh, 35A. That must be something that I must have just hit that on accident. We'll delete that. There we go. Delete it right here. Whoa, what just happened? Delete. There we go. I was like, whoa, hey, we just deleted like the whole last third of the shot. Okay. Let's see there. I like that timing change that we put in there. I think that worked out pretty well. Like right there around frame 28. Or was it 20? It was around 25. Yeah, that change up right there around 25. I think that made it a little more smooth. There's going to be some in-betweens and stuff in there, but not many. I mean, this is pretty straightforward because you also have to take into account that when you get these painted, these cells painted, and you take them, the sequence into like After Effects, you add your directional blur, your motion blur, all that kind of stuff. That stuff, you got to take that stuff into account as well when you're drawing all this. Well, I think I'm going to call it a night right there. I've got more work to do, but I'm going to break out my tablet, put it in my lap, kick back with a drink and a snack, and do this last 2 hours. And then I've got an hour of well, just cleaning up my work area. So what I like to do is like I go into all my folders that I'm working primarily in that day, and like at the last hour of my day, I make sure that everything's where it needs to be in my folders. Like everything is organized. I'm very detail oriented with this stuff, so everything's very organized. I know where everything's at. I make notes about where I'm picking up the next day, what shots I need to fix and everything. So anyway, I hope you all will join me again. I might even come on tomorrow night and do some more. I might just save this shot for working on live stream. We might do some other stuff, but yeah. Until next time, thank you all for hanging out with me. This is what I do: studio work. I do this every night, couple sessions a day. Like whenever the house is empty during the day for about 3 or 4 hours, I'll get work done. And then in the evening when everybody goes to bed, I put in another 4 to 6 hours. Most nights I work till about 4 in the morning. So I get started around 9 or 10 when everybody gets to bed. And then I'm working until 3 or 4 in the morning. But yeah, that's life right now. So next weekend, you're going to be watching the Araura pilot. I'm really excited about that. If you're coming to Lexington Comic and Toy Con, which I know some of you are, I know there's only 4 people watching right now, but more people will watch this on demand. If you're coming to Lexington Comic and Toy Con, I will be a guest there the 6th through the 9th, so it's next Thursday through Sunday. I'll be a guest there. I'll be doing a panel. I'm not sure what day the panel's on. I'll come here on the channel. I put on my Instagram, or the Araura Instagram as well, when you can come check out the panel. We're going to watch the first episode live. You're going to get a sneak peek of episode 2. And we're going to be talking about some other Araura news, take some Q&As. There might be a special message from a voice actor or two as part of the video package. So anyway, I hope you all have a great night. Be safe, be good to each other. Keep rocking, as always. And I will catch you all tomorrow night right here on the Araura channel. Y'all take care. Thank you.
if you're dead last. Know yourself, love yourself, easy. One day you'll start to understand there's no point to this unending day. Then you'll see that it's all just a game. Hindering ourselves, we fall apart. Reasons that we keep apart. Oh, free me, free verse in my mind. Between the silver line, my heart's in the sky. Through the darkest night, let's run till the dawn's first light.